Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management, Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Ghostly woo for Jakey. Wait, can you do the ghostly woo?
Woo!
Yeah, I knew you were ready for it. That was impeccable. Welcome in, everybody, to Banger Management, the Fantasy Hockey Podcast with Kevin and Josh today. We are going to go over the Week 21 spicy Frank's Red Hot topics today and some spicy mailbag questions. I was actually looking at the haul of mailbag questions we have today, and I'm pretty excited to answer a lot of them. Yeah, some good stuff. You guys popped off in the Discord, so thank you very much.
Yeah, honestly, it's gotten to the point where like I don't even have to post the weekly like, hey everyone, we're collecting mailbag questions. Like people are just shooting them at all times, and I'm like, all right, great.
I love it.
I love it.
I feel bad sometimes because I know that sometimes people ask like really time-sensitive questions in the mailbag channel, and when those happen, I usually try to answer them over Discord. I'm like, by the time the episode comes out, it might not be pertinent anymore, or you might miss your window. But in general, like if you guys are listening to this, like keep shooting questions in the mailbag channel because there's a lot of gold in there.
Yeah, no, it's great. It helps us have stuff to talk about, so it's I love it. All right, let's get into
already
these.
Enough to talk about it, but also just need to address. Well, I was gonna say a few things to address. One, the lack of a third co-host. Jakey's got some work stuff, so he wasn't able to make it for this recording session, unfortunately, but he should be back on the next one. So everybody send him positive vibes for work and for his fantasy matchup, because I know, as he said on the last episode, he's going to need it.
Yeah.
As all of us will, to be honest.
Honestly, yeah. It's a rough time in this league. It's rough in the sense that it's going to be hard to get through, but it's kind of great because I feel like the level has just been elevating year over year, and it makes it really fun. It makes it more stressful, it makes it harder, but it makes it more fun.
I mean, our league of record this year had 14 teams, and going into like the Sunday of the last week before the playoffs, 10 teams were still in the mix. Only 2 teams were clinched, so that's 8 teams, 10 teams total, like being in the playoff hunt. And it came down to like some crazy matchups. Like we had the 14th seed eliminate somebody, and like the 13th seed rip points off. So honestly, it was a lot of spoiling happened, which I love to see.
100%.
I think it's just fun.
Yeah, no, it's super fun.
But alas, we will get into these hot topics. And before we do, just going to send a reminder to everybody. Make sure you drop us a follow on Apple, on Spotify, wherever you're listening to this. I think it's about time you hit that follow button, rate us 5 stars, because I know you like what you hear. And if you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. I know you like what you see. And make sure you drop a subscribe, a comment, a like, all that good stuff. We're always here to help. And
he's back with the 10, and he's got all that confidence too.
You know what it is. I love when I look at my hand and I take my watch off and I see like the 10 that I have there. It just reminds me how...
For me, it's the...
how good of a vacation I had.
Whenever I go on vacation, I'm always wearing my slides. And so I have that slides tan on like that line of like white on my feet. And it's so funny.
What, you tan with your slides on?
I don't actively tan. I'm usually walking around a lot, and I'm just always walking around like in my slides, and so you just get that nice tan line.
Funny story, I ruined my slides on my vacation because I went into, they were already, I had those Adidas slides, and that's
what I have. Yeah, I love those.
I love them. They're super comfy, everything, but like they're old, so like they were peeling a little bit. And then I went to I stepped in the water with them, and water got absorbed everywhere. Everything started peeling off. I was just like, they're cooked. I'm just gonna leave them there, and I'll have to eventually get a new pair. But
damn,
sad.
Pour one out.
Yeah, pouring one out for the Adidas slides. They've been through a lot.
Yeah,
and we're about to go through a lot, because let's get started with these hot topics, Josh. Let's this one's
do
spicy.
It. So I feel like what's been getting harder for me with the hot topics is I have to avoid stuff we're going to talk about, like stuff that's like news related. I have to avoid stuff we've already talked about.
You don't have to avoid. Sometimes it's still worth a deeper conversation.
Yeah. But anyways, sometimes, so I'll set it up where I have these hot topics. They're not part of the news episode. But the thing is, I don't know what your would you rathers are going to be. Yeah. And so then, because they're so interesting topics, they get thrown in there. Anyways, let's just get into it. Even though we talked about it fairly recently on our last episode, Connor Ingram, the coach, essentially just said that he is the undisputed starter rest of the season. What is his value? What is the line? Who are you ranking him above, who below? Like, where do we draw the line on Connor Ingram?
I mean, I feel like we gave a lot of value to Tristan Jarry before, because we were like, he sucks, but he's a starter for Edmonton. And I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat with Connor Ingram, except I might get slightly better quality, just because it's hard to be worse than Tristan Jarry. Guys, this guy was waived last year, like 14 months ago or something, and then I don't know what Edmonton did, but they made a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah.
And he's bad. So Connor Ingram, I like him as like a top 15, to 20 option rest of season, I think. Low end, like, bulk starter.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
would I
can I
rather
toss you
Alex
some names?
Lyon or a UPL where I know the quality is going to be better? They might get less starts over a Connor Ingram. I think your league categories or point scoring might influence a lot there, but he's going to get more wins. He should.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Lyon or UPL over Ingram every day of the week, but it's like you said, like he will get more starts than either of those guys. But let me throw some names at you in terms of like kind of like volume guys.
Give me
Would you rather Spencer Knight or Ingram?
Ingram.
Joey Decord?
Ingram.
Would you rather either of the Toronto guys?
Ingram.
Would you rather Mackenzie Blackwood?
I think right now I'm going Ingram. We're as we record this, we're in week 21. It's the fantasy playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
Colorado just said that, you know, they're gonna roll with the guy that's getting them the wins, and Blackwood has been awful. I feel like, you know, a lot of people are dropping Blackwood, and I'm like, you guys, you have to pick him up. The upside is there, but at a certain point, you also have to play for the matchup in front of you too. So it's like depending on your goalie room, it's a risk reward there. But I think Connor Ingram, you're giving him the leash. He's basically like a Mackenzie Blackwood, but with more starts.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
okay, 2 more names for you.
Yeah, give me.
Jacob Markstrom.
That's tough because Markstrom's playing all the games too. Like, he's like a Linus Allmark. They're playing him on the back-to-backs. Does New Jersey think they can still make the playoffs? Like, I don't know what's happening here. Like, why are they playing Markstrom, the guy who's squishy AF, on back-to-backs, being like, maybe we can make the playoffs? I have no idea what's happening there. But I think if they keep doing that, Markstrom probably is better because I believe in his quality more.
Yeah.
Than Ingram. Ingram is like you're rolling the dice. It feels like you can get a 930 versus Nashville, or you can get a 870 against Vancouver. It feels like anything can happen.
All right, last one for you. Jet Greaves.
Greaves for sure.
Oh my god, that's funny.
The quality is too good for Jet Greaves, I think.
Okay.
And I think at worst, Greaves plays usually one less game than Ingram on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
With the upside of like fully taking over as well, I think. And I think just Columbus, I wouldn't be surprised if Columbus wins more games than Edmonton rest of season. So.
Yeah, I don't disagree. All right.
Did you disagree with any of the other ones I mentioned that you threw?
I'm pretty in agreement with most of them. I think all of them, honestly. Yeah. All right. Next, we've got Bobby McMann, who Kevin picked up on his team. 2 unreal games since playing for Seattle. He got traded a while back. He wasn't injured. It was visa issues for a while. It was kind of a mess. The coach was saying, like, I mean, honestly, you got to feel for them, right? Like, they make this trade deadline trade to help their team make the playoffs, and then the guy, for reasons completely out of everyone's control, just cannot play for them for like 2 weeks. So, but he's finally here. He played 2 games, unreal stat lines. Is he a good rest of season pickup even with bad playoff schedule? Or another way to word this, would you take him over someone slightly worse who has 4 game weeks? Like here, how about Bobby McMann versus like Gabe Perreault, who's got a 4.44 versus the 3.33?
To me, it's McMann by far.
Versus like who else is like a solid, like one of these guys getting picked up? How about like a Frank Nazar?
Bork? Frank Nazar, I'm taking McMann.
Okay, wow. I think I'm taking Nazar for the extra games there. But I mean, I love what McMahon's been doing, and I think that, like, to your point, I think you got to go with a guy, like, if a guy's enough better than someone else, like 1 extra game, you know, you still take the guy who's better. So I think I would take McMann over a lot of 4 game guys. I'm pretty high on Nazar. I think he's been really solid.
He's been good. What I don't like about Nazar though is that, like, I like my players to have a lot of category coverage, and he's like very, you know, linear in terms of like being shots, you know, face-off wins, of course, he's the pure C, and the points. And the points feel like they come in bunches too. Like, you can have like 4 games worth of double points, and then like 2 weeks of straight zeros, it feels like.
Yeah.
And he's not getting you any hits, whereas McMann, what we've seen is his archetype. First of all, he's playing big minutes. Like, he's hovered just under 20 minutes for both games that he's played for Seattle. He's line 1, power play 1. And he's shooting, he's hitting. Listen, I don't expect him to average 4 shots, 4 hits a game like he's been doing for these 2 games.
Yeah.
But I like what I'm seeing. And the points have come. I think Seattle's a team trying to make the playoffs too. So I think the fit there just works well. And in Bangers Leagues, I like it a lot. Do I think Nazar could potentially get more points in a 4-game week? Yeah, but I think I like the shots and the hits of McMann to make up for the difference there.
Yeah, I don't
that's kind of how I feel.
I think he's a fantastic pickup. despite the bad playoff schedule. So
Yep.
I think I would definitely encourage people to pick him up over
And
some of these other guys.
At least no 2-game weeks for Seattle, right? Like it's a bad playoff schedule, but a 3-3-3, like you're making the comparison of 3 versus 4, and you can justify a lot of it sometimes. It's just you're justifying it every week because it's always a 3-game week.
Yeah.
But if he has the quality, like at a certain point, like for me, like a Gabe Perreault, it's a no-brainer. I'm going McMann.
Yeah, I think Gabe Perreault power play 1 I'd rather over McMann with the playoff
Fair.
schedule, but Gabe Perreault power play 2 I'd rather McMann.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we've got the villain of the NHL and the Olympics, Radko Gudas. Is he worth adding after the suspension is over, or can we officially call him cooked? Obviously, we're just talking bangers leagues, but he's got such a his name value in bangers leagues is equivalent to I don't want to go too far and say McDavid in points leagues, but that's kind of what he's been like over the past couple of years as a bangers defenseman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this year he's been really bad, or at least he's had his stretches, but especially towards the end, lately, he's been really, really bad. And a lot of people are asking, do I have permission to cut him? I know this is a cardinal sin to cut Radko Gudas in a bangers league, but obviously suspension aside, because while he's suspended, he's obviously a drop because he's not playing. But when he comes back, do you pick him up for the last week or whatever of playoffs if you need the banger, or is you're just not interested? You can find someone better.
To me, you can probably find someone better. Even before the suspension, he was going cold and people were already dropping him there. The suspension was just kind of the easy makes your decision easy to make. So does that mean that he won't be valuable in the last week of the fantasy playoffs or in the semifinals or whatever? No, I think he could definitely have games where he's providing good hits and blocks, but I just think I'm not relying on it. And we've already seen a bunch of these guys come and go of alternatives that can basically do either exactly what he's doing, even maybe sometimes even better, and maybe just a little worse. And I'm not holding Gudas for that.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I had him on my team. I dropped him, and I haven't looked back. I haven't regretted it. No one else grabbed him.
It's crazy. I want to actually ask you this because going into the season, there's always the prototypical banger elite guys that the name is there, and you're okay, this guy will help me win my bangers leagues.
Yeah,
I feel all those guys kind of have either gotten worse, but I think also it's just there's been a bunch of alternatives that have kind of surfaced that just makes it less special to have those quote unquote guys that used to be special.
I'm getting to the point where I feel I'm just not gonna draft those guys. I'd rather, or not until the last round, take a shot at a random one, because they're easy to find on the waiver wire. It sucks to waste draft capital on a guy, and you're I don't even want much from you. All I want is you to hit and block, and then they don't do that even, and you're kind of then you see all these guys on waivers who start putting up 2 hits, 2 blocks, and you're oh, I got to hold on to my Radko Gudas. He's just going through a rough stretch, and you just see them pass you by. You could have picked up a Matthias Samuelsson or something. I just think it's an easy position to fill. So I kind of agree with you. I think the days of spending draft capital on these kind of bangers guys,
I drafted Romanov pretty high. Alexander Romanov, we forget about him because he's been hurt for so long. But
that's less on him, his performance, and more the fact he got season.
But he wasn't
injury.
banging that much either when I had him.
Yeah.
So
I'd much rather if I'm gonna use draft capital on bangers, I much prefer a forward who's a double. I think that's a lot harder. Who can get
those are still valuable,
0.5 points per game, whatever.
Svetch.
Yeah, but even lesser ones, lesser. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood. I think he's unbelievable.
Will Cooley.
Yeah, exactly. So these ones, I'm willing to spend. That's where I'm willing to spend draft capital on bangers. But I agree with you. The defensemen, I picked up Trouba last year, mid rounds, and I was pretty excited about it. I mean, this year I got him for free, but last year I drafted him.
Yeah.
And then he had his worst year as a banger. So it's and it just sucks when you have such low expectations / what you want them to do, and they can't even do that. So the upside just isn't there, it feels like.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to another disappointing defenseman. We've got Seth Jones of the Florida Panthers. How do you value him rest of the season when he's back from injury, since the Panthers are tanking so hard? What are some comparable names that you'd be willing to, let's say, drop to activate him or something like that? Where do you draw the line? Obviously he's going to be power play 1 on the Panthers, but that's a lot less exciting when guys we don't know if Reinhardt's going to be there, or Bennett, or Marchand, right? So that power play should be a lot worse than it was before he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he was the best at backcats. Like, and I just can't see them giving it their all, right? Like,
No.
he's just coming back from injury, and they're kind of actively tanking. So, like, would you rather like healthy, right? Assuming he
Yeah.
comes back this week, would you rather Seth Jones or like I keep bringing his name up, but I feel like it's just comparable, like Brant Clark or Seth Jones,
Mhm.
you know?
To me, it's Brent Clark. Like LA is a team that wants to win. He's the power play one quarterback on a power play that now has Panarin. That's been a little bit better. I know Clark just had a really bad game, but I'm also like, I believe in it for the future. Whereas Seth Jones, it just kind of feels like, the bangers are not like, I feel like we associate him with like being a really good bangers guy and also
Yeah.
the power play, but the bangers have not been really
No,
there,
very
right? Like it's a little
disappointing
bit
this
of
year.
blocks, a little bit of shots. The hits are not as there at all. And the power play, how good is the power play going to be when you have like
That's it.
Lundell, Samaskevich, and Verhaeghe replacing your three studs that are on that lineup? So
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect, but my vision of Seth Jones and how I see him rest of the season when he's healthy is like, 0.6, 0.65 points per game, hovering around 2 shots, hovering around 2 blocks, maybe slightly below, slightly above, and like maybe 0.2 power play points.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can probably stream production like that if you're in a shallow enough league for power play one defenseman being readily available. But if not, like, you could probably, would you rather,
Seth Jones or
um,
Thomas Chabot?
I mean, Thomas Chabot for sure, right? At that point.
Yeah.
But Seth Jones, or like, are you holding Sean Walker,
No,
who's
I would
been
take I would
in
take Jones over
form?
Walker.
What about like a Lacombe or a John Carlson?
Whichever one ends up on power play one.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably take Jones over both them just because of his like cemented position on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think like I would still take like I still treat him as a power play one defenseman on like a half decent team because even with all their injuries, it's still Florida, right?
We're taking
But
Chikrin,
Chikrin's been
who's
so
been
bad.
bad.
He's been
Yeah.
really bad. Normally, I would much prefer Chikrin, but with how bad he's
Mm-hmm.
been and Jones just being a bit of a question mark, I'd rather take the chance on Jones at this point.
I feel like I'm still going Chikrin because I know at least Washington has healthy guys and like their best personnel is there.
That's fair.
And I
I mean,
think,
yeah, it's probably
yeah,
Chikrin. It's just he's been so bad that
yeah,
it's kind of hard not to take the question mark versus just how bad he's been. But yeah, so it's definitely interesting. Like I think he is like Jones is worth a pickup if he's available in your league. He's
mm-hmm,
only like 64% owned because he's been injured for so long,
yeah.
and he does have 2 4-game weeks in the next 2 weeks. So I think he's definitely worth a look, but I think you definitely have to temper your expectations because of just the state of how Florida is right now.
Jones or Mackenzie Weegar?
I'll take Jones.
Yeah, even in a
Yeah.
bangers league, like,
Um. Yeah. I still think there's upside there. Like I
mm-hmm,
don't think he's like completely like done and for
mm-hmm,
the season, but like yeah, and Calgary's just so bad. Like Jones, I'm confident is going to get more power play points than Uyghur. Uyghur will
okay,
get more
yeah,
more
for sure,
backcats. So
yeah. But are the
yeah,
points enough to make up for like the quote unquote elite or bad cats that Weir will get you?
it's just a different archetype, but I think it is. I think like Jones, like his backcats are not what people give him credit for, but they're also not zeros. So there's still some value there.
Yeah, Uyghur has not been impressive since the trade either. So
Yeah. All right. Oh yeah, I said Calgary, but he's on Utah. My bad.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Last one. I feel like we get this one all the time, but we're changing
mm-hmm.
who the second option is. Jakob Dobes and Jacob Fowler. People are really hyped on Fowler. Is he taking the net, or is he worth a pickup, or is it still Dobes all the way? To me, I see
To
it
me, it's
as a
still
pretty
Dobesh.
clear as Dobesh, like no question. I think that I got a comment on Reddit, like I make the weekly post with
Yep.
our waivers like summary, and someone essentially commented because we had recommended Dobesh right as like a
Yep.
good like quantity pickup, and essentially the comment was something like oh it's gonna be Fowler over Dobesh, and
Mm-hmm.
I essentially responded being like the only reason Fowler got called up is because Habs had 2 back-to-backs and they have just zero faith in Montembeault at this point. They do not want him touching the ice
Mm-hmm.
again. So they put Fowler in for both those back-to-backs. Doesn't change the fact that Dobesh is still the starter on the Habs. He's been fantastic for them, and they need to win games. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to keep going with the guy who's been fantastic, who has the slightly more experience. So I'm very hyped on Fowler as the goalie of the future for the Habs. And if Dobesh starts playing poorly, I could see Fowler taking it. But right now, there's zero reason to think that Dobesh isn't the starter. So for this coming week, I'm 100% Dobesh. I think he could get if he plays well enough, he can get all the starts.
Do you think we're in the situation where kind of like Colorado, where the team is like, we need to get wins. So the goalie that is giving us wins is the one that's going to play. Because Dobes is not, like oblivious to the bad game here
For sure,
either, right?
yeah.
Like both have Fowler just had a bad game, Dobes just had a bad game. So it's kind of like, I
think they're
think
going to
Dobes
go
has
with
the lead.
It's the same way that in the fantasy season, like at this point where it's the playoffs, we're not, there's no more like leeway. It's just you have to win. That's the same point we're at in the season for a team like the Habs where they are in the standings. They need to win. There's no more, that's why they're done with Montembeault, right? There's no more trying to get him to regain form or any of that. It's like, no, we need wins. We need the guy who's going to perform now. So if Fowler becomes that, if Dobes has the edge right now because he's done it for longer. So they're going to keep going to him. But if he starts playing poorly, they'll easily toss Fowler a start. And if Fowler plays poorly, goes back to Dobes. Like they have the options, but they will go with whoever's winning them games. So there is the possibility, but at least for this week, Dobes has the edge.
And I also want to clear up, I feel like there's this misconception or just like idea with the public that just like Fowler's a god. It's just a matter of time until he gets his spot. Like they can only hold him out for so long, but like he's gotten games. He's had amazing games, but he's also had really bad games.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
he's
I'm not
really
saying
young still.
Yeah. Like he's not the god that's gonna save our season, and we're making a bad decision not playing him. Like they could give him starts, and he can just like not run away with it and not succeed.
Absolutely,
that's absolutely in the range of outcomes. And I think we need to kind of separate the fact that like he's such a good prospect that doesn't translate to like actual NHL production right now.
That's exactly it. I think people are really hyped on his future and what he's going to bring to the Habs in the future, and they're mistaking the fact that he's up right now. They think it's the time, but it's probably not there yet.
And we're Habs fans, so like we're trying not to be biased here either. Like I love Fowler, like we're really excited about his potential, but Dobes has won a lot of games for the Habs this season. So
yeah. All right, let's get into our mailbag questions for this week.
Woohoo!
Yeah, fun times. We got some good ones, so let's dive right in. Jordary on Discord asked, would you rather draft a team of players 36 and up or a team of 21 and younger?
This is tough, but I feel like it just takes a few 21 and like under guys to be really good that it makes it worth it.
I mean,
like
find me a player. I was gonna say, find me a player 36 and up who's better than Celebrini. Like
find me 5 players combined that are better than Celebrini. Probably not.
Yeah, yeah. No. So like, and the thing is that also, I like throughout the season it could be like close-ish, but especially this time of year, you go the 21 and younger all the way. This is when those young guys pop up and have a great finish to the season, and this is when those old guys are injured and miss the rest of the season. So that's easily 21 and younger. Also, it's more fun.
Yeah.
All right. Evan2827 on Discord asked, if you guys had to watch one team play hockey from each division for the rest of your life, who would you pick and why? So obviously for Alani, we're picking the Habs because we're Habs fans.
Okay, we can't pick the Habs because we're Habs fans.
No, I feel like that's a fair one. We still have 3 other divisions to cover.
Look, they have to pick one team that's not Habs.
Okay, well, this is tough because it's about the team, right? It's not about the players because it's the rest of your life. So like all these players are going to come and go. It's about. So what do you even think about in that case? Like,
I think you think about coaching and like team archetype.
But even that, like over the course of a lifetime, like it changes. Like
some teams just have an identities as well.
That's true. Some teams do have an identity. So,
and which team do you like to root for? I think that's more of the question too. Like,
but it's just tough because like the way this question is like worded and like the idea of it, I feel like so much of like what we think of a team is the players, right? Because that's what makes up a team. But over the course of a lifetime, these whole rosters will change and everything will change. So, I guess like, what's the one constant? Like the jersey, like just pick which jersey you like the most, or just pick which one you think has the next like the best future or the funnest to watch in the next like 10 years because that's all you could predict and it's random after that.
And then we die.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if we're going off that, the team I'm most excited for the next like 7-10 years
Buffalo.
Is no, I was gonna say San Jose.
Okay. I thought you were still talking about the Atlantic.
I was just going like random, but so I would go San Jose from the Pacific. I think from the Metro, I feel like Chicago with Bedard. Or is that Pacific? I always mix up the
Chicago's in the Central.
Pacific. Oh yeah, Central. Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, give me
the second Western Division. You already did the Pacific. You can do the Central.
Yeah, exactly. So give me San Jose and give me Chicago, just because I think they're going to be really fun to watch for the next however many years. Then in the Metro.
In the East.
In the East, who's a fun team in the Metro division?
To me, I'm narrowing it down to like, I think Columbus could be really fun.
Yeah, I like that.
I've always liked New Jersey. Like, New Jersey was one of my teams when they had Brodeur. I was just like a big fan of that era. I might just go New Jersey too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'll take Columbus. I feel like Fantilli's really becoming like legit. Marchenko also. Jack Reeves
what about
also.
Jack Hughes?
Jack Hughes, I'm over it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like with all the injuries, it's just like I feel like that I actively don't want to watch New Jersey because he's always injured, and I'm always like they should be better than they are.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. Okay. And then last but not least, the Atlantic, and we're not allowed choosing the Habs. I can tell you one thing: I'm not choosing Toronto.
Yeah. Fair.
Unless it's just to watch them lose every year.
I'm not choosing Toronto. I'm not choosing Boston.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ottawa's been kind of crazy, but I feel like now's the time to hop on the Buffalo bandwagon.
Yeah.
You know, like I think it's got to be Buffalo for me.
To me, it's Buffalo or Florida, and Florida only because Barkov is there and he's my favorite player. But like, listen, he's not gonna be there forever.
I was gonna say he's not gonna last like that much longer with all these injuries.
I think Buffalo's the team to go. I think I just have a lot of fun rooting for Buffalo because I think the team deserves some success.
Yeah, they deserve some joy. I feel like
put an asterisk there, but
yeah. All right, let's go to the next one.
Yep.
JD Whale on Discord asked, does punting categories work in fantasy hockey like it does in fantasy basketball? Absolutely. I think the biggest talked about punted category in our league is face-off wins. And the way to kind of look at it is a category that doesn't correlate with any other categories. Mm-hmm. And that's also why, I like targeting specifically guys who get power play goals in our league, because if a power play goal is a power play point, a goal, a point, and a shot. That's 4 categories for one action. So yes, punting is definitely a thing. You could punt goalies by, going 0G and then kind of like trying to in our league we've got both quality and quantity categories, right? Mm-hmm. And so oftentimes you can be like, all right, I'm going to run fewer goalies that have better quality, and those are easier to pick up on waivers. Mm-hmm. Guys who aren't going to get as many starts, but when they do, they play well. So then you punt the volume category. So yes, it's definitely a thing, and I think it's definitely important, even week by week, right?
Mm-hmm. I will say though that fantasy basketball, it's way more prominent. Like, punting categories is a serious strategy that you go into the draft with. Like, you build your team with a specific archetype for certain categories that you want to hit. In hockey, I would say it's harder in hockey because a lot of the categories are way more correlated together.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite category that I punt all the time is plus minus. Like, I'm in a plus minus league. I don't even look at the plus minus. I'm drafting my team.
Yeah, because it shouldn't even be a category.
It shouldn't even be a category. And like Josh said, like, the ones that are least correlated with other categories are the ones that you want to punt, ideally. Like, face-off wins is another one. Like, if the guy's not a center, he's not getting face-off wins. I don't really care about that, right? So I think those are the easiest categories to punt. If you want to get in the nitty-gritty of it, like blocks and hits, you can technically punt as well. Like, I know a lot of defensemen are, shots blocks defensemen with power play upside, but no hits. Yeah. Those are easy to find. So definitely feasible, but I will say a little harder. I tend to not go into it punting any categories unless it's plus minus or face-off wins.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Dobby on Discord asked, why are Bangers Cats Leagues your preferred format?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is a easy one for me to answer, and it's just because I think Bangers Categories Leagues requires a lot more strategic input, and that's what makes it more fun to me. I feel like points, there's a lot of heavy lifting for a lot of your league. I feel like you can be let's say a bad fantasy manager and still have success in points leagues, but if you're a bad fantasy manager in categories leagues, it'll show more often. I think being more well researched, I think being smarter with your ads plays a bigger part. And I like being rewarded for being a better fantasy player. That's why I prefer that format, because you can really truly build your team how you want to build it and make strategic decisions. Like, okay, I'll sacrifice a little bit of this to get a little bit better here. With points, it's just kind of like all put together. And I think it takes away a little bit of the strategy.
I fully agree. I think Cats is like a bit of like a chess match, especially also if you're like, you have your little Excel model like me and Kevin do. You could go into the week, which categories you are up for grabs, essentially, which ones you should be targeting for ads and stuff like early on in the week. And, especially like when you're up against another good manager, like when Kevin and I play each other, it really feels like a chess match because like you want to make pickups early in the week because you want to maximize the games played of your pickup. But also, like, let's say there's like 3 categories up for grabs, like hits, blocks, face-off wins, and I see Kevin makes a face-off win pickup. I'm like, okay, maybe I don't bother with the face-off wins, and I could actually drop a guy on my team who's kind of garbage other than face-off wins, and then pick up like a hits, blocks guy, and now he kind of wasted his ad, and but then he reacts to my ad, and, and then you're waiting until like the end of the week also to save an ad for the last minute like twist. So I think there's just a lot of fun to be had there, and a lot of, like you said, rewarding smart managers, which is because like points is kind of I just view it as like point soup. It's just like a bunch of stuff happens, it gets converted into a number, and then ploop, you get like your total, and it's just you're just picking whoever you think is just the best in general, right? So yeah, I think it's more fun.
And if you've never played in the categories leagues before, like obviously we talk mainly about category leagues here, like banger management, banger leagues. I think it's the most fun also format. I don't want anybody to be intimidated. I think it requires more strategy, but it's still really fun, and I think it's very rewarding. And next season, like, we're gonna be running banger management community leagues as well for everybody to get involved in. It's gonna be the same setting as our personal league of record. We will be in some of the leagues to play with some of you guys. Still trying to convince Josh to participate. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you haven't had any of those experiences yet, I think you can look forward to that next season.
Yeah. All right. Show Me Pajot on Discord asked, do you guys prefer to trade just straight players with no picks or involve picks in your trades? In our league of record, we don't have picks trading because it's full redraft. But I know, to me, I would love to get picks involved. I know that I would always use that as like, this trade is close for you. Like, let me throw in like a little pick upgrade there, or
whatever.
$5
bucks or something.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's a nice way of just kind of like slightly like tipping the scales one way or another to get a trade done. So I think it just gives more flexibility, and anything that makes more trades happen makes me happy. So I could see really enjoying that.
I personally like. It's tough, right? Because I just love a good trade, whether that includes picks or not.
Yeah.
Like Josh said, our main league of record does not involve pick trading. But the thing with and I'm a commissioner in a lot of leagues for, football and hockey, and I've seen a lot of SHIT. And and to me, like, what I've seen is when people are not as experienced and you include pick trading, it leads to a lot of people getting taken advantage of, and it kind of like ruins the integrity of the league. When I've seen startup drafts in football where, some guy that's very experienced will offer a trade and be like, hey, I'll give you this like, 3rd round pick for your, 4th and 5th round pick. And the guy's like, oh yeah, of course, I get a better 3rd round pick. I'm giving 2 worse picks, of course. But it's like a redraft league, like it's a, startup league for Dynasty or something like that. And like you're losing a lot of value on that. And then I'm like, I don't believe in vetoes either, but I know clearly this guy made a really bad trade that compromises the integrity of the league. So like I have trouble trusting everybody to be smart with the trading of the picks, but maybe that's just a me issue.
Yeah, no, that's
but in
fair,
general,
though.
it's fun.
At least when there's no picks involved, like if someone makes a dumb trade, it only ruins like that season. It doesn't carry over to future years. So there's definitely less stakes involved there for sure. All right. Cornucopia Express on Discord asked, what's each of your go-to pick-me-ups after being knocked out of the playoffs? So I can go first on this one. I've only ever been...
do you even have a pick-me-up, Josh? Like, I was about to say.
I've only ever been knocked out of the playoffs once, and the day it happened, my first child was born. So I'd say... my first and only child. So I'd say my pick-me-up for being knocked out of the playoffs is having a baby.
Funny, what a coincidence. No, that's never happened to me. Honestly, I don't know if I have a pick me up because the losses really hit me and they really stick with me. And to me, it's just like, okay, I'll get him next week. But then at some point, there's no more next week, right?
Yeah.
So, and like we were talking about this in the first week of the playoffs. I think for me, what I do is I try to rationalize what happened. And if like it's outside of my control, I feel a little bit better about it. Like I did all the right things and it still just didn't work out. I think I gave myself the best chance to win. And if I just got unlucky, I got unlucky. Like I'll be devastated, but at least I can be like, I didn't make any bad moves. It's not on me. Like this guy picked up, I don't know who I played against. What was his name?
Colin Graff last week. He put up like 6 points in a shorty.
Yeah. Who did I play? I played against Nick Dowd like after the trade, and he got like 10 hits in one game, and I lost hits that week, and I'm the best hits team by far. I'm just like, there's nothing I could have done. Like, how am I supposed to predict Nick Dowd is going to get 10 hits in one game and completely shift the whole matchup? Like, some of the things you just can't plan for, and I think thinking about those things, I'm like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
and that helps me cope.
I've got my excuse locked and loaded this year with Draisaitl being out.
Yep.
And last year, no joke, like my top 5 picks all were injured going into the playoffs. So, it's nice to have a little. It doesn't actually help at all, but it's nice having a little excuse at the ready. So everyone knows that you're still the best, but it wasn't your fault. All right, Mojo Jojo on Discord asked, Woll or Stolarz rest a season? Can we say neither?
Yeah.
No, but it was like, if you have to choose one, who are you going with?
I think right now Stolarz is playing better.
Yeah, I think it's like
it's pretty
bleak.
Giving you the better performances.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak in Leafs land, but you just go with who's doing better right now.
I think right now I'd probably lean Stolarz if you had to make me pick, gun to my head.
Gun to your head, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's been a while since the gun has been to my head. And, what better week to do it than this week?
Yeah. Okay. YSwan7934 on Discord asked, I seem to encounter a phenomenon where I clinch a bye, and during the bye week, my team goes absolutely nuclear and everyone stays healthy. Then, once the bye is over, everyone starts having some of the worst performances of their season. It's not just that, though. They'll have family members die, children be born, other personal reasons to miss games, or just randomly become day-to-day. It seems like all this is too much for coincidence, and there's some kind of bye week juju going on. My question is, have you found any remedy for this? Maybe some sort of ritual, prayer, or sacrifice? I don't think there are any witch doctors or gypsies near me, but I'm willing to travel if needed. Is there anyone in ancient Canadian mythology who can help me? I'm 1 week into a 2-week semi and desperately need some help.
We've all been there, my friend.
Yeah. I feel like the only I think Canadian mythology, the only thing I think of is like Terry Fox.
I was literally just thinking about Terry Fox. I was like, maybe we should all go run a marathon and we'll get some good juju. But
yeah,
it's tough out there. I think. Have you ever tried praying to our Lord and Savior Matthew Olivier? Because I know that if you don't pray to him and you antagonize him, bad things happen. So maybe if you say good things happen. That's the only thing that came to mind potentially.
Yeah, I've got nothing because this. I mean, look, I just lost Draisaitl. I'm still clearly not over it. This is the second year in a row he's done this to me, so I know the feels. There's
a cruel mistress.
It really, really is. And if you find anything, please let me know, because I'm willing to do very superstitious things if I think it'll help me.
We're gonna watch us be on the roof doing some rain dance or something, and maybe that will help. But
if that's what it takes to heal Draisaitl, I will do anything. Anyways,
take my knee or hip or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. Just take all my bones and use them as you will. I will slither around and as long as I win. All right, let's go to the next one. Gnome on Discord asked, any sneak peeks for the Banger Management Fantasy Leagues? Are we going with 12-team leagues, 14 teams, reversal in the third of the draft? Are the boys going to be in the same tier/league, or will each be the final boss of 3 different leagues if you all participate? What are some sneak peeks for next year? What a great question.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I feel like we've done a couple sneak peeks in the past on, these episodes or whatnot, but for those who have missed it, or, maybe you're just listening to this here for the first time, the sneak peeks I can say are full peaks, because I will give you all the settings. It's going to be exactly the same settings as our League of Record. It's going to be probably 12 teams for everybody.
And it's 14 teams?
I think for the Banger Management Community Leagues, it should probably be 12 because it'd be easier to manage. But listen, maybe if we get so many applicants, maybe we'll do 14.
Whichever one is divisible by the amount of people who who want to be.
Whichever one that makes sense the most will be. Yeah. But I think it'll end up being 12. It's always 15 categories. We got 10 categories for forwards. We got 5 categories for goalies. It's goals, assist, points, power play points, shorthanded points, also shots, PIMs for the bangers, face-off wins, hits, and blocks. So those are all the categories for forwards. Pretty much almost anything you can think of, minus like takeaways and like time of ice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for goalies, it's always wins, goals against average, save percentage, saves as well, quantity of saves, and shutouts. So 15 total categories. It leaves a lot up for grabs. Very strategic. and 3 ads every week, minimum 3 goalie starts. And your starting roster is going to be pretty large as well. It's 4 centers, 4 left wings, 4 right wings, 4 defensemen, and 2 bench spots. And a
and
few, 2 goalies and a few IR plus slots. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And it's a snake draft.
Yeah, snake drafts. We can potentially get tempted with a 3rd round reversal, although we do not personally play with 3rd round reversal. Not because I think it's bad. I just think that, our league has been going.
Snake is the way to go.
It is snake. It's just 3rd round reversal, like, helps the teams that are not getting McDavid, Draisaitl, and McKinnon, and so there's a strong argument to having that be a more fair draft. We've just done without it for so long that it'd be tough to convince the rest of our league to make that change. But I'll consider it for the community leagues, and we won't be in every league, but I'm putting it out there. Like, I will be participating in one league. Pretty sure Jake will be participating in one league, and Josh, if I can convince him, will be participating in one league. Leaving it out there, maybe if the whole community begs him, maybe he will actually confirm.
I will say it's very unlikely because, unlike Kevin and Jakey, I am not good at not putting all my emotion. No, it's not even that, because you're. It's not like, I don't know. I just can't handle it as well.
I have a lot of emotion in our league of record as well. If you haven't noticed,
I know you fully do. But I don't know. It just gets to me, and I'm just like, even one league, like,
you've never tried it. I think you could try it.
We joined that public league together that one year, and
that's
then
random. Like, it's just me and you and whatever. And I cared about it the whole time, and you didn't.
I know. The way I see it is like,
with our community,
I already get so devastated whenever I get injuries, and if I have twice as many teams, that's twice as many players who I have who could get injured. And anyways, we'll see. I'd say it's unlikely, but I won't rule it out, because you never know.
Counting this as a win. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. We still have to find out what the structure is going to be, like if there's like a hierarchy or tiers or whatnot. But we're thinking about some cool, division names or league names for all the leagues out there.
Yeah,
and you can trust us once we have an update in the offseason, where we're going to dive deep into it and see what makes the most sense with how many people are going to participate, and it's just gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. All right. Blue Goon on Discord asked, "Hi guys, with the playoffs around the corner, what strategy and advice do you have for teams that have players that might be shut down, whether they're on shoe-in teams like Dallas, Carolina, or Buffalo, or tanking teams like Rangers and Florida? This is the trickiest part of the season because I don't know whether to play guys like Draisaitl and Karlsson, who might be a healthy scratch, or stream them for a matchup-specific player." So this makes it sound like it's kind of like weekly locked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like if it's day to day, you just see if they're in or out, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like, at this point, it's too late to make trades and stuff, right? So, you have the players that you have, and there's nothing. You kind of just have to roll with the punches. The way I see it is the same way that you kind of get hit with random injuries and shutdowns and stuff like that. Other people are getting hit by that, and every time a player gets shut down, it's an opportunity for another player to step up. And there's a lot of these players stepping up who are on free agency. So try not to get caught up in, how much it sucks when your guy gets shut down, and just try and think, okay, who's the next man up? Or you see someone on someone else's team get shut down, who's the next man up? Like we talk about, like Kevin's been saying in the Discord a lot, Jamie Benn is a great pickup, right? Fully agree.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Rantanen and Hintz got shut down to playoffs. He's on power play 1 now. That would never happen other than like end of season, really, like Gabe Perreault for a bit until JT came back, like that was a great one. Like, these kind of like random guys who come out of nowhere because of these shutdowns. That's kind of the way I would kind of mitigate these issues. If you're looking earlier in the season, like we talked about, like it's fun. It's good having guys on teams fighting for playoffs to kind of avoid this, but it just feels like it's too hard to predict too far out.
I echo everything Josh said. I think also like a lot of context matters here too. Like it's hard to be proactive with guys being shut down because you never truly know, right? And how devastating would it be if you think that this guy's going to get shut down and he doesn't, then you're just missing out on a lot of production. But then like you're going to feel awful when you start him and then he gets shut down, right? Like there's literally no right answer there unless we can tell the future. If you're in a league where you have to like commit to starting a Ross like a lineup before for the whole week. But all of it is also contextual, right? Like JT Miller being potentially held out or Reinhart being potentially held out has different consequences than, it being like a Malkin or something, right? Like just every different player is in their own kind of like vacuum of, situation, and you have to evaluate it all separately. And that's why I think we're doing a good job in the Discord at like trying to decipher everything for everybody's specific leagues, their own league settings and their own situations for their roster. So if you have any particular questions of like guys you are worried about, shoot us a message in there and I think we'll be able to help you.
Yeah, All right, last question. Party Never Dies on Discord asked, what do I do about Tom Wilson? He's killing me not doing what I drafted him for. 10-team league with bangers, and there are lots of good players on the wire. This was alluded to in the last episode,
Yeah.
and I kind of cut you off because I was like, we're going to talk about this.
Mhm.
But I think the fact that it's a 10-team league makes it very interesting because I think it's very reasonable to drop a guy who's underperforming in a 10-team league. Especially like a guy like Wilson, you have him for a very specific reason, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, like the points upside was really nice this like start of this season and last season, but in general, what makes him so elite is the PIMS shots hits. If he's not doing that and he's just getting you kind of like zeros, like why are you holding him? And
Mhm.
when it's playoff time, we talked about this a lot. This episode, we talked about this last episode. There's no time to wait. There's no, like sure it's a 3-week span, so like you don't want to make all these rash decisions week 1 and then be screwed the following weeks. But at the same time, like we're far enough in the season, he's been bad since the Olympics, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like this is just like a little blip. I don't know about you, Kevin. I'm willing to drop, especially in a 10-team league.
In a 10-team league specifically, I'm willing to drop. It would be crazy. Like if imagine our league of records, somebody dropped Tom Wilson, like we'd probably be fighting for him on the waiver wire, right? But in a 10-team league, and you specifically mentioned also that the waiver wire has a lot of good quality there. Like at the end of the day, if he's only getting you decent bangers or good bangers, like you can replace that. You can find a replacement for that. He's not getting you the points. You got to pick up someone that's going to actively contribute in those categories for you in your playoff matchup when everything is on the line. I don't feel bad. I'm willing to cut loose.
I would
Like
take
you got to
Bobby
be,
McMann over Tom Wilson.
you got to be ruthless at this point. Like you got to go with who's giving you the production. And we're at a stage of the hockey season, too, where like some teams are out of the race anymore. They don't try as hard. They don't care as much. Some teams are really fighting for it. Some teams have guys who are injured, other guys stepping up. Every the situation in the league is constantly fluid, and you got to adapt. And if we were talking about this 2 months ago, it'd be crazy, right? But
Yeah,
we're in the playoffs right now. Like everybody's on the table to be cut.
it's crunch time, baby. You got to make the hard decisions, and that's how you win leagues.
Exactly. And hopefully everyone in the banger management community is going to be winning leagues. I know, honestly, we got a lot of messages in Discord being like, I started listening to the podcast. I was in like 8th place and now I'm 1st place and I have a bye week. Thank you everybody so much and all that. And honestly, those are the most rewarding messages to see because it just means that like, our advice and our content is actually genuinely helping you guys. And that makes my heart happy. So I'm glad we're able to provide this and it's fun for us. We have such a good time and, the fantasy playoffs is what we all look forward to and it's where winning is done. So that's
it's where heroes and champions are made.
So hopefully everybody has a good week 1 of the playoffs, or some leagues start the playoffs next week. So gotta get ready for those. But thank you everybody for listening. This is gonna wrap up this hot topics and mailbag episode. Good luck once again. If you're not already following us on Apple or Spotify, honestly, we would sincerely appreciate it if you dropped us a follow there. Rate us 5 stars too. It takes 2 seconds, but it really means a lot to us. We're trying to grow the community and help everybody. Listen, we reference the Discord. If you're not already in there, please join. I'm saying this because it's going to be a valuable resource for you winning your fantasy league. So if you're listening to it, you don't even know what Discord is yet, take a look. It's really not intimidating, and I think it'll bring you a lot of value. And obviously the YouTube, if you're already looking at our beautiful faces, we thank you. If you're not, listen, you're missing out. But drop us a subscribe, comment, like, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. You can take it away, Ernie.
Ba-ba-da-bow-bow, Banger Management Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Woo!
Woo! Woo! I hate Mendoza.
What did he do?